Well, today it's my Dodge truck's turn to get worked on. I got a bunch of different jobs I'm doing on it. As you can see, the throttle body is not on the engine right now. Last winter when plowing snow, I had some issues of after you start plowing for a little while, start stalling when you do a lot of starts and stops. And I had replaced the air idle control motor on it, and I had replaced the throttle position sensor on it, and I was told that might have something to do with it. And I've got what should be a known good map sensor that I'm going to put on there. But one thing that I also included here, or one thing I decided to do on it, was I popped this little metal plug out here that hides the idle adjustment screw. And the reason I did that is if I don't get this fixed, so that what it's doing is it keeps adjusting the idle control motor too far in and cuts off the air supply. So if this map sensor I'm putting on it doesn't correct the problem, then my intention is when I'm plowing snow, I'll just take and bump the idle up a little bit so that I can actually plow the snow. And then when I'm not plowing snow, or the other thing that I do that sometimes brings it out is if I have to back a trailer into an intricate spot where I do a lot of starting and stopping and so on. So when I'm doing those jobs, I'll bump the idle up, and when I'm not, take it back down. We'll just do it that way. So, the old truck's getting old, so I can't expect it to perform like it did when it was new. Then also what I'm doing is I'm rotating the tires. I got the tires already off. I'm doing an oil filter change. I'm going to change the air filter. On this truck, ever since it was new, it had a tendency to ruin the oil filter right over the oil port, for the blowback port. And so what I do is I put it in this way, and then I put it in this way, and when both sides are pretty well oiled up, then I go ahead and put it in the filter. They're not that expensive, $7. And then one of the problems I was having with this truck is whenever I have to hit a hard stop, it was diving to one side or the other. And so I got underneath here and checked my tie rod ends. This in here feels pretty good. This in here, I can't twist. There you go. If you can see it, that in there is not too good. And then we'll go on the other side. And this one right here is not very good at all. This one here is pretty bad. So I think that's why it's jumping to the side when you hit a hard stop. Something else I'm going to do is I'm going to try to either get these greasers greasable and get some grease into these ball joints, or I may have to replace the Zerk entirely if I can't get the Zerk to take grease and hold grease. This in here, it almost looks like the boot's torn. It's kind of hard to tell, but I'll get some grease in there. We'll get a little more life out of it yet. I'm going to go ahead and throw the parts together, and then I'll come back and show you what we got, and we'll go from there. Well, the coffee is almost done. That always helps, you know. Got the stereo going. And I'm going to start with this throttle body, which is sitting in the tripod here and all lined up. Okay, still not. Put you right about there. How's that? Alright, now all these components on this throttle body can actually be put on with a T25 Torx. Whenever you put these air idle control motors in, make sure everything's clean. You got a little seat in there that needs to be clean. I just went ahead and put this in the parts washer. So, and connectors all plug in from the driver's side, which is the opposite of your linkage side. So I try to line this one here, can go in two different ways, but you might as well put it into where your connector comes in the right side. And that's pretty simple, just 2 screws, that's all it is. There's a little O-ring on there, might want to make sure your O-ring is good. If you're putting on a new part, your O-ring should be good. If you just took it out for test or inspection, you might want to take a peek at that O-ring. Okay, the throttle position sensor has got a focus. Well, it don't look like I'm going to focus in on it, but anyways, when I put that in, I take and see which way my throttle is going to go, and it's got to be able to turn that. So my throttle actually goes clockwise, so that's got to turn this clockwise. So when I put it on, I'm going to make sure I turn this a little bit clockwise past and then bring it up till it gets a little bit of spring on there. And that's where she goes. Simple, simple. Now on the map sensor, you got a little air fitting on there, a vacuum fitting. It's got a little vacuum plug that goes on there. It's a little elbow-shaped guy. It's got to be pointing in the direction of the where it goes here. You just put him on there, push your vacuum fitting on, and then just drop your screws in.
Chance for it and winning family 4-pack of tickets for the new animated film called Legend of the Guardians.
And I kind of push and make sure that vacuum line's on there good. A little vacuum elbow. Now whenever I work on this throttle body, I just go ahead and get another gasket. They're $2.50. New gasket. Throw that on there. And she's all ready to put in the engine. Okay, I got her up on the engine. This is pretty simple and straightforward. You got 4 bolts that hold this on there. They're 13 millimeters is about the best fit, I believe. Half inch seems to fit just a bit on the sloppy side, I think. Of course. I like to tighten it down pretty good before but anyways, then you got your, there's one vacuum line that goes in the front, you got your map sensor connector, you got your throttle position sensor connector, and you got your air idle motor connector. Plug those 3 in, you'll have 3 cables. Of course, if you took yours apart, you probably already know this. You got your cruise control cable and your throttle cable, and then I think this one's the cruise control. And I'd have to think just a little bit to tell you what all 3 cables are. I can't remember now. But anyways, I'm going to tighten this on there and button this end of it up. And then we'll go on to the next part of the project. Well, there's a couple of things I wanted to mention about this then. This is all aluminum, so when you tighten your 4 bolts that hold your throttle body on, kind of be a little bit careful. 200 inch-pounds of torque is what the torque specifications are on them. And then the other thing I wanted to kind of mention is these cables are very difficult to put on, especially this one back here, the far back one here. This in here is so hard to get to. The easiest way to get to it is to tilt your throttle as far forward as you can. It's almost kind of a juggling act to hold that in position while you use your other hand to kind of get that clip started. Once you get that clip started on there, then you can let go of this and get back there and put your finger on it or whatever and push hard and snap it in place. You want to make sure that all these, especially these two types right here, are snapped into place good. I've had them come off on me before because I didn't get them snapped on all the way. This, I think this in here is your cruise control. This in here is pretty easy to snap on. That's no problem at all. And I guess that's all I really need to say about that. Okay, everything's all back. Now I'll start her up and see what she sounds like. And I got a belt and a pulley I had to deal with someday, but once they warm up they usually quiet down. I can put the back wheels back on any time. I've already got them moved into the spot where these are the ones that had been on the front. I just need to put them on the back. And I'll put the wheels on, and next thing I'm going to do is the tie rods. And then after the tie rods are done, then after that I'll do oil change.